Many pet owners don't shy away from putting their pets on social media, and sometimes their adorable dogs and cats even cash in big time. Popular pets can rake in money through sponsored posts and ads, and upon reaching furry fame, they can also have their own merchandise. Some even surpass their owners in terms of wealth, while others inherit, or are set to inherit, fortunes from their owners. The relationship between man and animal predates capitalism, but that hasn't stopped some of the wealthiest people to ever live from trying to mix the two by leaving their ridiculous fortunes to their pets. Which means that there are cats and dogs on this planet who have more money than you could ever hope to accumulate in your lifetime. Some of the richest animals in the world have made their money through inheritance, but others have made it through marketing or acting. There are some small animals that are not only lucky enough to live in wealthy families in fact, but they themselves also have their own fortune. Whether they are actors or heirs to their parents' fortune, animals have an impressive capital, sometimes estimated at several million euros. No doubt, these animals were considered members of the family and had an important place in the hearts of their owners. From pups that have inherited a fortune from their besotted owners, to cats that can earn thousands with a single Instagram post. Everybody loves their pets, but some clearly more than others. This list includes cats, dogs, bear, chimpanzee and even a chicken. Do you know the richest pet animals in the world? Today we're going to explore the richest pet animals out there. Here are the top richest pet animals in the world 2022. At number 18 we have Pontiac with $5 million. Actress Betty White has long been known as an animal lover and animal advocate. So it is no surprise that she's planning to provide for her pup, Pontiac, upon her death. MSN reports Ms. White has a trust fund valued at nearly $5 million to provide for her golden retriever Pontiac and other pets when she dies. Pontiac was featured on Betty White's Off the Rockers when his owner revealed that she trusts him to inherit her $5 million trust fund because it's just the two of us for Christmas. Pontiac, who has been nicknamed Betty White's pet by fans and reporters alike, will likely never miss out on any luxuries in life thanks to this generous gesture from his wealthy celebrity mommy. The late Betty White's adopted golden retriever will inherit $5 million after the recent loss of the American actress and comedian. Pontiac, cared for by renowned animal lover Betty White, died in 2017 but managed to earn a lot of coin while still alive. The Golden Retriever served as the spokesperson for White's charity of choice, the Morris Animal Foundation, and the actress made provisions for the dog to have a $5 million trust if she died before him. Next on the list at number 17 is Bart the Bear 2 with $6 million. Bart the Bear 2 is one of the few animals on this list to have actually earned his wealth. Basically, if you've seen a bear in a movie in the last 20 years, there's a solid chance it was Bart, who was named after Bart the Bear, an Alaskan Kodiak bear who starred in dozens of projects between the late 1970s and the late 1990s. Bart passed away in 2000. Though Bart the Bear 2 has no biological relation to the original Bart, both are trained by Doug Seuss. If Bart 2 looks familiar, you may have seen him in an episode of Game of Thrones, where he squared off against Brienne of Tarth and Jaime Lannister. He has a net worth of around $6 million. He is followed by Boo at number 16 with $8 million. Boo, a famously adorable Pomeranian owned by Irene On, has built a merchandising brand around himself based purely on his unfiltered cuteness. Life-sized stuffed versions of himself are available for purchase. He has his own book, and he has accrued several million social media followers. His net worth currently sits at about $8 million. Next up at number 15 is Conchita with $8.4 million. Conchita was a Chihuahua that belonged to Gail Posner, a wealthy American who died in 2010 to whom she had left a fortune of $3 million trust fund and a mansion of worth $8.3 million in Miami Beach. Known simply by the nickname, the Boss's, Conchita was known to wear pearls, designer outfits and bespoke Louis Vuitton bags. We actually have made the decision not to get Conchita the Range Rover. Instead, I got a new car and gave her the Escalade. She, along with her 2 sisters, gets driven in it to and from their weekly puppy spa appointment, where they get manis and petties. The Escalade is gold, Posner told New Times Broward Palm Beach. When you can afford to buy your dog Tiffany's necklaces and cashmere sweaters, it might be the universe's way of telling you you have too much money. Regardless, deceased heiress and socialite Gail Posner left her Chihuahua Conchita a sizable fortune of $8.4 million, including a posh waterfront pad in Miami, for seemingly no other reason than because she could. At number 14 we have Frankie, Ani, and Pepe with $10 million. Frankie, Ani, and Pepe are the 3 lucky heirs to the $10 million estate of an anonymous San Diego man. The trio is made up of 2 cats and a dog. When their owner died, he wanted to be sure that Frankie, Ani, and Pepe, a dog and 2 cats, will have everything they'll need. So instead of leaving his money behind for when he's gone like most people do these days, or even just giving it all away because why not, he decided to leave the majority of his estate in trust so there would always be someone around who cared about what was happening with them. The property left for the pets was worth $10 million, making it one of the richest pet animals in the world 2022. They are cared for by their neighbor in their San Diego mansion. Although not a lot is known about them, what we do know is that they are some lucky pets. Next on the list at number 13 is Trouble with $12 million. Trouble was a white Maltese terrier that belonged to Leona Helmsley, an American businesswoman Leona Helmsley who was the owner of hotel chains in the United States. New York hotel heiress Leona Helmsley was sometimes referred to as the Queen of Mean. And in a final cruel act, she left her $12 million to her pup, Trouble. Not one penny was gifted to her family. When Leona Helmsley died in 2007, the family of the deceased were angry to learn that they did not appear in the will. The only heir was Trouble, to whom Leona bequeathed $12 million. After the death of Helmsley, Trouble lived in an expensive home in very comfortable conditions, went everywhere in his own limousine, received the best food and, in general, was not denied anything. The Helmsley family then launched into a legal battle that fascinated Americans. Her grandchildren disagreed with her decision and contested it in court by claiming that she had problems with mental health. Eventually, the judge, who was clearly ignorant of the cost of a good groomer these days, ruled that Leona Helmsley was not quite her head when she wrote her will, and Trouble would get only $2 million. $6 million ended up going to 2 grandkids, and the rest went to charity. So as to avoid any further conflict, because there have been threats for kidnapping before last year when the canine passed away from natural causes at age 16 years old. She is followed by Blackie at number 12 with $12.5 million. Blackie was once at the top of this list as he used to be the world's wealthiest cat, as confirmed by Guinness World Records. His $12.5 million fortune came purely from inheritance. He inherited a $12.5 million property from his owner. His owner was a British antique dealer named Ben Ray, who left all of his estate to this reclusive cat and $12 million to 3 charities for other animals. When his human passed away back in 1988, Ben Ray's feline friend Blackie inherited an estimated $12.5 million, making him quite possibly one of the world's most wealthy felines ever, although there are no specific records so it is hard to say. According to Everplans, fiercely reclusive, British antique dealer Ben Ray would have died in relative obscurity in 1988 had he not endowed almost his entire estate to Blackie, the lone remaining feline from a group of 15, along with 3 cat charities. Nothing of the estate was gifted to family members. Blackie is the last surviving pet of Ben Ray, a multimillionaire who was estranged enough from his own family to bequeath his riches to a feline. Next up at number 11 is Tomasino with $13 million. This is definitely a rags to riches story. Tommaso was a stray living in the streets of Rome. Stray cats in Rome are a dime a dozen. When he was just 4 years old, Tommaso, Maria Assunta's cat and heir to her fortune of $13 million, had a tough life on the streets in Rome. But then fate intervened when she met an Italian widow who decided that before she died, this stray kitty needed some stability at least for his last few days alive. Maria Assunta, who was an extremely wealthy Italian woman, and the widow of a wealthy real estate investor, saw something in the 4-year-old stray and rescued him from the streets. When her health started to decline, Assunta looked for an organization that could watch after Tommaso after her passing. That meant putting him up with animal welfare groups all over Italy, as well as taking care of her properties while doing everything possible not to bequeath any more trouble than necessary upon those tasked with dealing with it after their death. When that didn't work, she simply decided to transfer her $13 million total net worth to the cat upon her death. The wealth wasn't just in cash though. The cat also became the owner of several castles, villas, and estates throughout Italy. The inheritance was placed in a trust for the cat, and a woman who befriended Assunta in her later years was named as trustee. At number 10 we have Choupette with $13 million. A blue cream tortie Burman cat of Chanel designer Karl Lagerfeld, who reportedly received some of his $300 million fortunes after Karl's death in early 2019. She also has made $3 million in her own right from modeling contracts and endorsements. The world's most fashionable cat, Choupette, French for sweetie, inherited her wealth from the late designer Karl Lagerfeld's. Choupette had 2 maids, regular manicures, and appeared on the front cover of Vogue. The late Karl Lagerfeld left an undisclosed portion of his fortune to his cat, Choupette. Before his death, Choupette was already a bit of a star, with 250,000 followers on Instagram and appearing as a model for ads for beauty and car products. CBS News reported, Choupette, a Burmese cat, stands to inherit a chunk of the designer's estimated $300 million net worth, after he wrote her into his will in 2015. Lagerfeld confirmed in an interview with Numero last year that she, among others, would be an heiress to his vast fortune. "Don't worry, there is enough for everyone," he said. Among Choupette's most admired traits? She doesn't talk, Lagerfeld told Numero in an earlier interview. Next on the list at number 9 is Guigou with $15 million. Guigou the chicken reportedly inherited $15 million in 2002 following her owner's death, but she wasn't always a multimillionaire with 15 properties to call home and plenty of cash on hand for lavish dinners. Guigou was originally just another one of Miles Blackwell's chickens who roamed free around his English countryside property when he passed away after only 3 weeks into retirement from overseeing their family publishing business, leaving behind wife Doreen as well as all that money. Miles died unexpectedly at age 74 while still transitioning out from running their company. It would have been natural enough if both parties had sold up and retired together like any other couple might do. Her owners, the Blackwells of Blackwell Publishers, never had children. Country Living reported, the British chicken became a multi-millionaire in 2002 when her owner, publishing tycoon Miles Blackwell, died and reportedly left $15 million to his favorite pet. According to The Independent, Miles Blackwell passed away a mere 3 weeks after his wife died. Just a year earlier, the couple had sold their interest in the family business and decided to retire to the English countryside to breed sheep and hens. She is followed by Jif Palm at number 8 with $25 million. Jifpom is the highest-earning canine pet and also the most influential pet influencer in the world. The Pomeranian is the most followed animal on social media with 9.8 million followers on Instagram. The tiny Pomeranian is worth $25 million and rakes in $32,906 per Instagram post. He has 2 Guinness World Records for his speed and has made a number of on-screen appearances, including in Katy Perry's Dark Horse music video. Next up at number 7 are Oprah Winfrey's dogs with $30 million. Oprah Winfrey, one of the richest women in the world, has 5 dogs. Luke, Layla, Sadie, Sunny, and Lauren have the distinction of being the dogs of Oprah Winfrey. That alone would make them rich in spirit, but it has the added hook of an assured inheritance. We all know that billionaire Oprah Winfrey is a dog lover. She's shown the world the sweetness of English Golden Retrievers and introduced us to many other breeds with her television show, The Dog Whisperer. According to Oprah magazine, Oprah has had over 20 dogs, many of whom she's sadly lost. Longtime fans will likely remember Cocker Spaniels Sophie, Solomon, and Golden Retriever Luke. But today, Ms. Winfrey lives in luxury thanks to her 3 cuddlers, Springer Spaniels Sunny and Lauren, and Cocker Spaniel Sadie, who was adopted from an animal shelter but turned out to be one smart cookie, as well as Sophie, her first puppy ever. And these lucky dogs live a life of luxury, which will continue through a sizable inheritance estimated at $30 million if they outlive their star mom. Winfrey has already agreed to leave the 5 dogs, each of whom has their own trust fund and as a collective are set to inherit $30 million when Oprah passes. Which is a fairly large chunk of her total fortune. At number 6 we have Kalu with $70 million. A chimpanzee named Kalu was the headliner for a group of over 40 animals that stood to inherit up to $70 million. The daughter of a British countess and ex-wife of Olympic medalist Frank O'Neill, Patricia O'Neill added her beloved pet chimp to her will. Reportedly his former owner Frank O'Neill's will found himself in second place on the list of heirs when he returned home after competing at the Sydney Olympic Games only months before. A collection of over 40 animals, headlined by Kalu, stood to inherit O'Neill's Cape Town estate, according to Everplans. Unfortunately, the inheritance was mostly gone after a crooked financial advisor misappropriated the funds, costing him what could have amounted into tens if not hundreds of millions according to some estimates. Chimpanzee Kalu lives in a luxurious mansion in the suburbs of Cape Town, South Africa. He is the richest ape in the world. Her owner Patricia O'Neill was so fond of animals that she bequeathed all her money to several dozen dogs and cats, but Kalu got the most, estimated $70 million. Next on the list at number 9 is Toby Rhymes with $80 million. There is new money, and there is old money. Toby Rhymes is a poodle with some old money. Toby Rhymes is a royal poodle descended from Toby I, the rich canine heir to a very wealthy woman, Ella Wendell. This wealthy widow died in 1931, leaving her dog $20 million. The rich lady loved Toby so much that all her life she presented him with luxurious gifts and did everything so that her beloved dog did not need anything. The trust was invested wisely over time thanks to wise investments that have only grown bigger as Toby's birthday continues onward into eternity. The trust has continued to grow for almost 90 years, passed down from generation to generation. The treasure has continued to grow. Originally estimated at $20 million, and according to Investopedia, today, the gift is worth $80 million, making Toby Rhymes one of the richest animals in the world. Now that is a dog with a silver spoon. Nowadays she sports designer clothes, lives it up at fancy hotels when traveling abroad, and wherever else there are high-dollar treats. Toby lives in New York at his house on 5th Avenue in Manhattan. After having dined eating exclusively caviar twice daily for breakfast along with chicken livers served 4 times per week every evening in a restaurant in the neighborhood, he returns to his penates in his 4-poster bed while being cared for by an army of personal maids around the clock. She is followed by Olivia Benson at number 4 with $97 million. Olivia Benson, the best friend and companion of artist Taylor Swift with a whopping $97 million net worth. Olivia Benson doesn't just sit back and let the money flow in through her songstress benefactor. She has a huge social media presence and has also found success outside of the world of Instagram influencing. The Scottish fold cat earned her fortune starring alongside her owner in several music videos, has crafted her own merchandise line, and has had cameos in many big-budget ads, including for the likes of Diet Coke and Ned Sneakers, netting her a personal fortune worth about $97 million. Next up at number 3 is Grumpy Cat with $100 million. A beloved icon of our generation, Grumpy Cat, real name Tartar Sauce, is arguably the most famous animal on the planet, known for her permanently grumpy expression, a feature which has earned her internet fame thanks to one of the most enduring internet memes ever created based purely on her permanently disgruntled look. Internet cat star. Grumpy Cat is an American cat famous for her pouty facial expression, her name literally meaning grumpy cat. Its typical expression allowed the animal, and especially its owners, to have a brand of coffee in its name, a Christmas movie, and to attract over 2 million loyal fans on Instagram. Apart from her social media and merchandising empires, she also starred in her own movie, Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever, where she was voiced by Aubrey Plaza. Though her net worth is often cited as being about $100 million, her owner said that's not quite true. Still, it's definitely in the millions, and a heck of a lot more than the typical American can ever hope to make. At number 2 we have Nala Cat with $100 million. Nala Cat, with a reported wealth of $100 million. The Siamese tabby mix, who is slightly cross-eyed, has found fame on Instagram and currently has 4.3 million followers. According to CNN, her owners said that sponsored content deals with brands on the platform start at $8,000, while estimates suggest the feline makes $14,419 per post. Cat influencer and pet food owner Nala has an incredible $100 million to her name. Verisiri Pookie Methachitifin created an Instagram account for the rescue feline in 2012 as a way to share photos to family back home in Thailand. Her adorable cross-eyed expression quickly catapulted her into stardom, and Nala's fame was turned into a business empire, including a premium cat food brand. Rounding out the list at number 1 is Gunther 4, topping the list of the world's wealthiest pet ever, according to Investopedia, is a German shepherd named Gunther 4 who is living a luxurious life in Germany. The rich pooch is owned by the Gunther Corporation, who also manage the dog's estate and fortune, and through real estate investments the fortune have skyrocketed. Gunther's grandfather's inherited fortune skyrocketed from a mere $80 million in 1992 to the $500 million reported today, thanks to inheritance as well as investments. His father, Gunther III, inherited $80 million from German Countess Carlotta Liebenstein, who died in 1992. He, in turn, left that money to his son, whose caretakers have invested his fortune to the point where Gunther IV is worth approximately $500 million. Over the years, the money has been used for investments around the world. The estate officials made good investments, resulting in the amassed fortune. He owns multiple million-dollar mansions around the world, eats steak and caviar daily, and has his own personal maid. Gunther IV is the owner of a villa in the Bahamas and a 9-bedroom, 8.5-bath Miami estate once occupied by Madonna. The waterfront home was passed on to Gunther as his inheritance. The private estate sits on a 51,000-square-foot lot with 100 feet of water frontage. It features extensive landscaping, open water and city views, and a pool, fountain and dock where Gunther enjoyed soaking up the sun when visiting Miami from Italy, where he lives full-time. The home measures 8,400 square feet, which gave Gunther plenty of space to roam, but he preferred to spend most of his time in Madonna's former bedroom. He sleeps in a custom-created round Italian red velvet bed on the floor of Madonna's old bedroom. Gunther lives the good life. In addition, the ultra-private gated estate sits on an expansive lot lined with stunning royal palm trees surrounded by lush landscaping and breathtaking open bay views. There is a picture of Gunther 4 above the fireplace. Gunther 4 reportedly purchased the villa from Madonna for more than $3 million in a rare white truffle for $1,500. It is no surprise that this lucky boy finds himself the richest pet in the world, 5 times richer than the runner-up on this list. To demonstrate his business ability and talent for real estate, it has been reported that Gunther has recently sold the mansion, formerly owned by Madonna. After listing it for a whopping $31.75 million in November, the home has sold for $29 million. That's one clever dog. Were you jealous of these pets? I was. Let us know which one you love the most and what you would buy with all that money, and if we missed one, let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel Luxury Hub for more interesting videos. Here are other options for you to have a good time.